What's going on? Bienvenidos, Throwback Thursday, papá. Estamos moviendo el table, el bote. Shake your body music, como decía Manos Arromamas antes, ¿no?
Toda la chena.
Ay, eso. Estamos hablando al revés. Ay, apenas estamos empezando. Cállate la boca, shut up. Música de Marisela Hernández, ladies and gentlemen. ¿Quién iba a pensar? Órale.
¿Quién iba a pensar que el que menos importaba en mi vida es el que me ama y el que me cuida?
No más.
Y me hace muy feliz con su querer. ¿Quién iba a pensar que al que no quería y siempre despreciaba
That sounds good.
es el que ahora duerme en mi almohada?
Oí.
Es el hombre que me hace sentir mujer.
Que te da todo el cheque, Marisela. El hombre que te da todo el cheque.
Aquí lo tengo.
Todos los $10.
Mi corazón.
Ni te deja para el tip, Dad.
No. Nomás para el chicle. Y eso es que es el mismo del otro día.
Y solo sus besos
Ey.
me hacen feliz.
Esto te puso casa y todo el pedo.
¿Quién iba a pensar
He likes it like that.
Ya.
nunca volverme a enamorar?
Oí.
Fantasma me vino a robar toda la pasión que había dentro de mí,
Todo el pasión que tiene, Janine.
pero me enamoré de ti.
¿Se la estás dedicando a Jani o qué? Marisela Hernández, ladies and gentlemen, is here with us.
Gracias. No, nada más se la dedico. I guess you don't know this, but this song is actually about him.
¿Sí?
Yes.
I kind of figured that
It
because if
is.
it was about somebody else,
No,
I would tell
no.
Johnny, hey, Johnny, cálmatela, bro, ¿qué onda?
Qué guacho.
We got Johnny Hernandez from High Voltage Production here también. Her lesser half, not her better half. Her lesser half, okay?
Lesser half.
No, not at
No,
all.
no, eres el better half, carnal. Eres el better.
Soy el better half, carnalito.
Yes.
Sí, hey, yo soy el lesser half, carnal.
Ay.
Te voy a decir desde ahorita, bro. Yo no le puedo, no, hombre, no tengo ni diploma, carnal. Cállate la boca, chat up.
Estamos
No están
igual.
igual.
No tengo ni good enough diploma, el GED, carnal. No tengo ni GED,
No,
carnal.
pues yo tampoco.
Y acá la better half con masters y la chinga. Cállate la boca, chat up.
Tiene todo lo que me falta a mí. Diga, ¿verdad?
Hey,
That's why we compliment each other so well.
That's true. That's true.
yo no necesito diploma, no necesito GED, no necesito masters, carnal.
No?
Ahí tengo Google, carnal.
Sí. Ey, así estoy igual yo.
You're talking to the Google search king over here.
De
too.
volada llego del
Yes.
trabajo y ¿qué te duele? No, pues me duele, ¿qué sé? De volada
Le digo,
googleale,
traigo
Google.
la rodilla bien hinchada, honey. He starts to Google.
Así.
¿Sabes qué comiste ahora? Es la sal.
No. Hey, don't ever go to WebMD, carnal.
No, hombre, te echa mentira.
Porque si te dice Marisela, me duele la rodilla, de mi Google en WebMD, se te va a caer la pierna. Chinga.
Yes.
Se te va a caer la pierna.
It's true. You know, my mom used to do that all the time too. And she goes to her doctor and she said my mama had a heart condition and she would tell him, well, it's because, you know, WebMD, this and all this information. Her doctor told her, stop looking at WebMD. It is horrible. It scares people and it just, yeah. So
Yeah.
you're right.
No, tienes que tener cuidado con eso
Not a
porque
good source.
te dice todo lo que puedes tener
And then
y
you're
todo,
gonna
lo
die.
que, y todo lo que puedes tener es algo que te puede matar,
Yes,
carnal.
you're
¿Entiendes
gonna
la
die.
onda?
Yes, you're getting massive headaches and you're sweating and you know, you're going to die.
Anxiety.
You know, you're going to die according to WebMD.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Throwback Thursday. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos. And we're from our brand new studios inside the Society 204 building, the co-working community in Edinburgh, Texas. This is the new studios we got here. And tonight's show is brought to you by the law office of Carlos A. Garcia. If you're injured in a serious accident, arrested on serious charges, you need an attorney that's going to fight for you in court because serious cases require a serious lawyer. Call them at 956-584-1448, 956-584-1448. Hablamos español también, para que sepan. 24 horas al día, 24 hours a day, 7 días a la semana, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, 365 días por año. Él está disponible con el teléfono aquí listo. And he always has the ringer on, raza. Órale. No lo ponen silent como todos ustedes. Ok, tiene el ringer prendido y suena y él lo contesta y de volada te saca del bote y vámonos para la corte para defenderte. TheGarciaFirm.com. It is the law office of Carlos E. García. Órale, es todo. Sústame. By the way, he is board certified in criminal law by Texas Board of Legal Specialization. Esos abogados están contados en una mano, carnal. So, ya sabes. Él ya tiene. Nosotros estamos hablando que no tenemos diploma, GED, master, nada. Este es board certified criminal law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. Vámonos, Rezo. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And make sure to, like, subscribe, and share. Tell all your friends about hashtag PVT. We're back live on again. We're still working on a schedule. We're probably going to shorten it to 3 days a week. But it's going to be chock full of fun and entertainment for you folks, okay? Porque en los Monday nights, I don't know we're going to be able to make it porque we don't want to compete with Monday Night Football. We don't want to compete with Monday Night Raw. Tuesday, Tetera Tuesday, we got to have that. Wednesday, Rock and CHAZ, we got to have that. Thursday, Throwback Thursday, we got to have that. And then the rest of the days, we'll be putting up clips and stuff for those 3 shows, Or maybe some vlogs of us doing something somewhere because we're going to be going to Eagle Pass at the end of the month. And we'll be doing other things, and we're going to take you with us, okay? So make sure to like, subscribe, and share. We appreciate you. And ladies and gentlemen, right now, let me introduce you. I've already introduced you to her, but her name is Marisela Hernandez. She's a Tejano singer from the Rio Grande Valley. She's in the royal chair.
Hi. So special. I always wanted to. My mother always told me, eres una reina, but now I feel like one.
Yeah. Y sin hijitas, para las niñas, sin hijitas, sillas para la quinceañera, aquí tenemos ya.
Yes. Now I know where to come and rent.
Padrino decía, va taloneado.
Right away, I said, now I know where to come and rent him. And the husband says, padrino.
Y cuando se case, tengo dos sillas.
No, señor.
So ya estamos ahí. Si quieres dejar depósito desde ahorita, carnal, no hay pedo.
No. We'll need the both of them for the quinceañera because, Daddy's going to be right there. Yeah, he's not going to leave her alone.
I remember one time, they hired me to DJ quinceañeras, right? And they hired me and then, me dieron el depósito y todo. And I hadn't heard from them. I would tell them, hey, call me 2 weeks before the show so we could touch base. Todo ese pedo, ¿me entiendes? No me habló por una semana, 2 weeks, no me habló. So then I decided to call her, and I'm like, okay, man, what's going on? Are we still on? And she goes, Chihuahuas, Rock, ¿qué pasó? Pues Chihuahua, mi hija hizo elope.
Oh, no.
Y no, So se chingó toda la quinceañera. Chingada. Pues sí. Y de ahí me dice la señora, oye, ¿cuenta el depósito para una boda? Y yo, cálmate. Ese es otro pedo.
El mexicano no echa nada a perder. Vámonos.
Yeah.
Pues claro, mira.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, that guy you just heard right now, Johnny Hernandez from High Voltage Production. He's been doing production for concerts and events and festivals for a long time. I've known him for quite a while, man. I met him when he was very young.
30 years.
30 years. He's been drumming with Hometown Boys, H3. He drummed.
Serrata.
What other? Jesse Serrata, man, que en paz descanse.
Roberto Pulido.
Roberto Pulido.
Signo.
Yeah, man. You've been with quite a few people.
He's been around.
Yeah. You know what? Ya que dijiste Jesse Serrata, bro.
Yeah.
Me dieron ganas de escuchar algo de Jesse.
That's his padrino, by the way.
Sí.
Ese es el que me sacó de la school.
Hey.
Tenía 16 y apenas iba a ser un freshman
Yeah,
pues,
he said, tú te vas a venir conmigo.
Tú te vas a venir conmigo y pues falló el tamborero. No me acuerdo si era...
He took you to Florida, ¿no?
Era Pete, me parece en el tiempo, Pete García, me parece que se llama, de Robstown.
Ajá.
Y algo pasó y pues necesitaba un tamborero y pues Mario wasn't around, ¿verdad? Chihuahua, y pues me llevó. My first gig was in McAllen, Florida.
Fíjate.
Me llevó 16 years old y la escuelín te guacho, ¿me entiendes?
Yeah.
Pero desde entonces, de 16 años, ya tengo 30 años tocando la tambora en un nivel, ¿verdad? Pues que se le dice profesional.
Ajá.
Pero antes de eso, pues, tiré muchos años pues ahí con mi jefito, los tíos, ¿verdad? De ahí de Hueslaco, pero...
En the cantinas.
Aquí, en las cantinitas, bien tempranito, pues en ese tiempo, en los 80s, si eran $20, 1980, ese era un billete. Yo tenía 6 años y ahí andaba.
6 years old, making $20 a night.
Man.
Pero aquí echándole ganas todavía, gracias a bendito Dios.
Así éramos muchos ese tiempo, back in the day like that. Donde quiera que pudiéramos hacer $1, $2, vamos a hacerlo, ¿me entiendes?
Sí, le pegamos a las Marías chiquitas y todas allá en Mercedes también. Entonces, ahí
Sammy's.
No, todavía no existía Sammy's.
Ah, no, todavía no existía.
Ahí había un lugar que se llamaba Jovitas, me parece.
Sí, Jovitas también.
Y también un lugar que se llamaba Monte Carlo.
Ajá, el Monte Carlo todavía está ahí.
¿Todavía?
Ajá.
La madre.
En Mercedes. El Mercedes tiene una calle que están todas las cantinas.
Ahí cerca del Casey Hall.
It's like the calle del taco, but with cantina.
Ajá.
Es como la calle la 17 aquí en McAllen, pero...
Wow.
Pero son cantinas donde puro viejón y
no, ahí.
Man, good old days, man. Oye, la música.
And he knows a lot for his age because he's young, but he knows a lot about,
¿Qué tantos años tienes de
46?
46. Y pues ahí va, cuídate con los 40, carnal, porque le pegas al cincuentón. Y
no, te estoy diciendo,
45.
tengo 45, te estoy diciendo, se me van las canicas ya. Mientras que no se me caigan, todo madre, ¿verdad?
No te agüites, carnal. Yo tenía 42 años, como 5 años, carnal. En los 40s se te olvida qué tanta edad tienes. En los 50s te recuerdas.
Sí, son the golden years.
Lo que te dije, cuando en los 40 estás, ahí voy, Simón, carnal, Simón. Simón, allá voy para allá, carnal, voy para allá. En los 50s, ahí voy, carnal. Ahí voy. Ven calmado, carnal. Gotta be careful because in the 50s you're easier to get injured and it takes longer to heal. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
So ahora lo que esté diciendo, whatever I have to say, I have to record it. Si no, se me olvida. A la otra que me saques una plática, pues, ¿qué es lo que dije, güey, para atrás? Esto es lo que me estoy jugando.
Es lo que me gusta de textear, bro.
Sí.
You can go back. Esto es lo que dije.
¿Quién iba a pensar, verdad?
¿Quién iba a pensar? Yeah, man. Who would have thought back then, bro?
Que la tecnología de hoy día está a otro nivel.
Yeah.
Más antes, la única tablet que era la tableta de papel del indio, ¿verdad? ¿Te acuerdas de eso? La tablet del indio.
The Big Chief. Con el lápiz chingonón.
El lapizonote. Portada más, no hacer tu homework. Palo, cabrón, órale.
Yeah.
No, pero...
Yo estaba pesado. In 4th grade, I even forged my report card.
You're terrible.
In 4th grade, I forged my mom's name and it passed. I mean, the teacher took it.
Gosh.
Twice.
Why would you need to forge?
Because I didn't want my mom to see my report card.
In 4th grade?
Habían unas cuantas D's. Pero I was really ahead of my time, bro, back then, bro. Pero Marisela.
Yeah.
We're really proud of you. You're recording your songs. You've always wanted to be a singer, ¿verdad? I mean, for the longest time since you were very young, right?
I mean, yes, and I wasn't very young, to be quite honest. I went through my high school years and stuff, and I never would have thought at that time that I was going to end up being a Tejano singer or a singer at all. Mm-hmm. To be honest, I was going through high school. I went to college.
Where'd you go to high school? Where are you from?
I'm from FAR.
Texas?
FAR, Texas.
So you're part
Texas.
PSJ?
FAR San Juan Alamo.
Bear? A bear?
Yes, I'm a bear.
Osos venenosos.
Yes. I had no choice. When I graduated, it was only one school.
Yeah.
So
and you know what? PSJ was a powerhouse back then in football.
It was back then when they had when the categories. It was a Super 5A. They called it. Super 5A school.
Yeah.
We had
I honestly think if they had never split up the schools like that, we'd be a lot more competitive upstate with other schools. You know?
I agree.
But what happened is, the schools that are very competitive up north, they come from big cities, so they have more population in that district and they have more players to choose from. I remember when le jugamos a, ¿cómo se llama? Cal Allen, baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Mercedes contra McAllen, fuimos para allá para Corpus a jugarles. Y llevaba al tío conmigo. El tío era apenas llegaba al checkpoint y ya estaba el tío alegando con el umpire, carnal. Todavía ni llegamos al pinche field, carnal. ¡Come on, Blue! ¡Come on!
Practicing.
Oye, tío, estamos en el checkpoint, cálmate. so llegamos allí y el McAllen, no cabían los players en el dugout, carnal. Traían chingos de players, vato. Y todos pichaban, you know. So it was really tough. But PSJ was a powerhouse in football back in that day.
Yes, we were. And then it started breaking off. I was part of the last graduating class for the PSJ Bears. And then I believe the year after that, that's when they came up with PSJ North. And then after that, it was, a lot of other schools.
Yeah.
And so now there's like 4 of them.
Yeah.
But I come from the original.
And you never sang in school, like in the choir or anything like that?
I did not. I was a cheerleader and I was an athletics.
Cheerleader. Oh, yes.
¿Por qué crees que me casé con ella?
Por las pom-poms.
Pinche pom-pom. De vez en cuando le hago que la saque en la noche.
Asústame one time.
Y no se descuide porque le pongo el trajecito ese de chilito también.
No. En una pierna nomás me cabe because I was like a size 3 in high school.
A mi hija le doy un shot de Nike, mi hija. Take a night.
Un shot, le das toda la botella, carnal.
That's horrible. No, I was a cheerleader actually I was a cheerleader for 14 years of my youth. After high school, I went to Southwest Texas University. Back in the day, it was called Southwest Texas.
That's the one in New Braunfels?
San Marcos.
San Marcos, that's right. That's right by there.
Yes, back then it was known as the party school.
What did you do when you went over there? What were you taking or what? And what made you go over there?
I went to Southwest Texas University. Back then it was called Southwest Texas University. Now I think it's called South Texas. I'm not sure. But back then it was called SWT.
Why did you choose that school?
I went there because when I was in high school cheerleading, every year we would have our cheer camps. And the cheer camp was always in San Marcos. And so we would go to San Marcos, the university. We would see the campus. And it was, as soon as I saw the campus, I fell in love with it. It was beautiful. It had the river flowing through it. It's beautiful.
It is a beautiful country.
Hills everywhere. Yeah, hill country. So to me, I was like, wow, this is beautiful. Like, I don't want to go anywhere else. And so it was the only school I applied to. Because I had my eyes set on that school.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go anywhere else. And so I did. I applied to that school. I got accepted. And
did
I
you
went.
how long did you finish school there?
I did not.
Oh, you did not. Oh,
no.
man. No, but it's all right.
It's not truth, but let me tell
at
you,
least
it gets
you got
worse.
that far. Not many
worse.
people do.
I got really far, but guess what? The worst part about it is that, so I went straight out of high school. We finished, I graduated, and then I only waited like that summer, and I started college. I cheered in college as well, and so I just went full force, and I did full years, and I did summers all straight. I burned out. It's no excuse, but I burned out after the third year. I was already just kind of like, the humito started getting a little bit less, and I was just like, I was burned out. I was getting, and then other things happened in my life during that time. That I just decided, you know what, I need to go home. So I took a break, and they told me, everybody told me.
And you were single through this whole college stuff?
Oh, yes, okay. Single completely. Everybody told me, if you take a break from college, you're not going to go back. I was like, hombre, I'm just going to take a year off. It's no big deal. I'll come finish. I'll do it. A year turned into 2 years, turned into 3 years. But guess what? The worst part about it is that I was 47 hours away from graduating, and I never finished.
And what were you wanting to be?
It was physical education, kinesiology, with a minor in English.
So you could be a teacher.
I was going to be a coach.
And a coach.
I was going to be a teacher and a coach. And then I was also, during that time, I was doing physical therapy. So I was kind of,
And then if you would have gotten a job with a high school, you also could have been the cheerleader sponsor and all that stuff. You had all that experience.
I did.
Yeah, but I guess that wasn't in the cards, right?
It wasn't. Then I started.
You got a fun job. I remember that. You were a karaoke hosts at Graham Central Station.
Yes.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're getting ahead of ourselves. How long ago was that after you had left
when I left college in let's see, it was 94.
Okay, so you left college, you came back to FAR.
I came back.
And you started singing? Or not yet?
No, it wasn't until in 95. Okay, when it was during the time when Selena passed.
Yeah, I remember that.
So during that year, 1995, karaoke was barely getting started. It was a new thing. It was like, there wasn't very many pistas available.
No.
I think it was maybe, it was a little bit of music from Selena, a little bit of music from Lucero, Ana Gabriel, Rocío Dúrcal.
Amor Eterno.
Right, it was all those cassettes. So it was very little
bit. And they were on CDs.
And they were on cassettes. No, they were on cassettes. Yes.
And it was just the music. Era pistas.
Era una pista. You'd go to Reynosa, en la marqueta en Reynosa, and we would get the cassettes. And so we would sing in the backyard. And then when Selena passed, the Selena explosion happened.
And everybody wanted to be a singer.
Everybody wanted to sing.
Every parent had their daughter that she wanted them to be Selena. You know, it was very, very
everybody wanted
times.
to be Selena at that time, and everybody just wanted to. And it was so singing in backyards, and then karaoke contests started happening. And that year, it was in 1995 when you remember those restaurants, the Checkers.
Yeah,
the Checkers
I remember those. They were like rallies.
Yeah. Rallies Burgers.
Yeah, they were just little quick drive-throughs.
Yeah, burger places, burger and fries places. Well, Checkers back in the day, they used to have karaoke contests like every Friday.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yes, and so they were gonna have they were having karaoke contests every Friday.
You know why I didn't know that? Because I was in the cantinas in Mercedes with Johnny.
¿Ves? Andaban cantinando y yo acá comiendo burgers and fries.
Estábamos tirando notas en vez de en la escuela. Estábamos ahí tomando notas de todos los viejones.
Oh gosh.
So then Checkers, was that in Farm or McAllen?
They had one in McAllen on 10th Street, and then they had another one like in Harlingen, and they had one in Edinburgh.
Okay.
So the one that I went to was in Edinburgh on University. And so, just one random week, one of my mother and my tia said, hey, pues, you should go and try the karaoke. The grand prize, first place prize was a family meal for 4. 4 burgers, 4 fries, and 4 large drinks. Right?
Más que ganes, mija.
Oh my God, I can win.
Hell yeah.
So I went.
And how old were you here? You were out of college already.
Yeah,
right?
I was straight out of college.
20,
I was
21,
20. I was 23.
Okay.
I was 23.
Okay, and then
I was 23, and I went to this karaoke contest. I was so super nervous because I hadn't really sang in front of people. That wasn't my family in a backyard barbecue. And so this was my first time that there was little benches and, people eating their fries and, kids and familia. So they called me up, and I remember I sang the song, la de Chihuahuas. I used to sing it all the time, and then I guess I blanked
You need to write it down like Johnny.
I know. I'm approaching my 50s. It's happening. La de yo te di todo mi amor y más y tú.
Oh, so it's a Selena song you did.
Of course, it was a Selena. It was a Selena contest.
Oh, okay, yeah.
A Selena contest. A Selena karaoke contest.
Si una vez.
It was Si una vez. There it is. Oh, Dios mío, So it was Si una vez, and I got up there and I sang the song, and I was so nervous. And then we waited, and of course they started announcing the winners and all that. First place winner, Marisela. So I went. I won. Wow. I won first place in my first karaoke contest.
Chingos of burgers, man. Oh, my.
Yes. I mean, it was, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So I had never entered a contest before, and I won. And so that really, really gave me confidence. Yeah. So I started entering all the karaoke contests everywhere. Yeah, and it was always like, hey, there was $100 first prize. So I was making some money. Yeah. $50 here, $100 there. And then it got to the point where people started asking me, hey, do you do like parties? I was like, oh, but that's a good idea, huh? Well, my mom, she went to go buy me one of those little speakers, that you carry. A powered speaker with a little microphone.
The Radio Shack.
Yeah, I think so. It was Radio Shack.
Tandy.
The Tandy Corporation. Made in Taiwan. In one time.
At one time.
I started doing at graduations, they would hire me to sing like 3 or 4 songs. Pay me $80.
Like that?
And I was like, this is good money.
Y puedes hacer 3 en una noche si están cerquitas. ¿No? Los shows.
Yes. So my mom started, she was my official manager and booking. So my mom would get me little gigs.
Andaba bien Kris Kardashian, la jefa, ¿no?
She was
Kris
my manager.
Jenner.
Kris Jenner.
Kris Kardashian.
Kris Jenner.
Bueno,
Yes,
ahí
she
cerca.
would.
She was the momager.
Yes, she was. She was my
Momager.
momager. But back when they didn't even exist, right? Yes, she
Yeah,
was. And
yeah.
she would get me little gigs, and that's how I would, I would get by, and I would, make a little money here and there, and I had fun doing it, and plus I was getting more practice.
Sí.
Then that's where that's when I started. I started working. That's when I came into the opportunity to work at the radio station.
Oh, yeah. That's at
the radio station.
KGBT.
At KGBT.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
you got a job there as a DJ?
I was an on-air personality. I did the morning show.
Yeah.
I did the morning show.
How'd you like that?
I loved it.
Who were you doing the morning show with?
With Jorge Guillen, que en paz
Man,
descanse.
Jorge Guillen was a very good friend of
Jorge
mine.
Yes.
Man, me and that guy, he was such a cool
He
dude.
was.
And,
You say he was because he passed, que en paz descanse, like I
Yeah,
said.
he
But
passed away in a car accident, right? Or
Is that
something
what it
like
was?
That's
Yes.
what I heard. It was
Yes.
a car accident.
yes.
But man, he was. I met him
He was
back in
hilarious.
88, 89, 90.
He's
And,
hilarious.
He was an amazing DJ.
Yes, he was.
He had this personality that would just come out through the radio station.
Yes.
And he had this, he'd say, comadre, ¿qué pasó, comadre?
Yes.
That was like his signature
That was
word
his- mhm.
on the air. So you were with him on the air. Man, that's
yeah.
awesome.
They threw me in. I mean, mind you, here comes somebody with zero experience. Zero.
And with somebody that never really had a sidekick. I don't remember. I mean, there was
No.
the news guy that would come
No.
in and do the news and the weather, whatever. But he never had a sidekick. He was always doing
No.
the show on his own.
None of them did, because back then, and this would have been in 1990, I want to say 97, in Spanish, I want to say Spanish radio, because it was a regional,
Sí.
regional Mexican
Sí.
radio station.
Was Rogelio there? Aquí Rogelio?
Rogelio was not there.
No,
It
he
was
had already
Hugo
went
de
to-
la Cruz,
Okay.
José Luis Villarreal,
Okay, Jose Luis.
Armando Almazán,
Sí.
Jorge Guillen,
Yeah.
all these, and so all these big names from when that radio station used to be 15:30 on AM.
Yeah, that was huge back
My
then.
father grew up listening to that station, so to
It's a legacy radio station.
yes,
Yeah.
with these these
Iconic. And
iconic
they had,
personalities.
They had Hugo de la Cruz. They had so many
Joe
DJs.
Morales
Joe
was
Morales
the
was there as well.
yes,
The
and so
voice.
we had
When
all
you
of
were,
these
excuse me, but when you were doing the morning show, was it a 4-hour show or 2-hour?
4.
Okay,
It
because
was
when
4.
I was there
6 to 10.
back in the early 80s, mid 80s, they would do 2 hours shifts. Like Jorge would do like 6 to 8 and then come back like 10 to 12 or something, or 2 to 4 or something. It was
Oh.
really weird. They would split up
They would
the
split
shifts
it
like
up.
that. And then Rogelio would come in and do 1 hour at around 1 but so you were doing a 4-hour show
I
with
was
Jorge.
doing a 4-hour show with him. He would start at 5 a.m.
Uh-huh.
He would do an hour, 5 to 6 a.m., and then I would get there from 6 a.m. in the morning to 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then that was the end of our shift. And then they
And-
would start with El Bueno y El Malo.
Yeah, and what were you all doing on the air? How were you all bouncing off each other?
Basically what we're doing now. There was no prep.
Mm-hmm.
There was no. We had, of course, promos that we had to do, and he would get like a little morning. Not a morning. He would do like a daily, kind of like a daily story. Whatever was happening in the news or whatever was interesting going on in the world at that time, and then he would pick a topic and he would bring it out, and we would just talk about it. And then we would do a lot of online like shout outs, callers. Yeah.
Did you have a specific segment for you that you did in the mornings? Like,
The only thing that I did specifically was the horoscopes.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Los horoscopos.
Yeah.
And so, it was crazy because this gig I ended up getting, because after when I started my karaoke singing, I started hosting at clubs and bars, and that's when I was hosting karaoke nights at the Yacht Club.
Yeah.
At the Yacht Club.
That place is always like Monday nights, Tuesday nights. I mean,
It was-
at the most odd nights.
Yes.
It was so
'Cause
packed.
it was open the 7 days.
Uh-huh.
It was open the 7 days, and I was always packed. We had karaoke on Tuesday nights there. And so I would host the karaoke there, and I believe somebody that worked at the radio station said, hey, you know what? You have a good radio voice. You'd be good for radio. I'm going to recommend you. And I'd be like, okay, I had zero experience. So they threw me in there. I walk into the office of Joe Morales one day, you know, and hola, ¿qué tal, Marisela? You know,
¿Qué pasó, Marisela?
Bienvenido.
The Tejano Music Awards.
Yes,
Yeah.
the voice of Tejano music.
Yeah.
And so I walk in there and it was a lot intimidating. But they showed me, they showed me the ropes. They were real patient with me. The radio station had never had a female as an on-air personality up until when I started doing it. So I was pretty much the first female.
Because they had Trini, but she was news, I think.
She was news.
Yeah,
yes,
she would just do newscasts.
Yes, she was like a sidekick to Hugo.
Yeah.
And she would do news. And so they never had like a female personality.
And when she was with Hugo, she was the one answering the phone lines for Hugo. And
she would do production.
Yeah, she would do production.
She was
That's
production.
what she was, yeah. But you were an on-air personality, sidekick.
Yeah. So it was a first for everybody. So, you know, everybody was adjusting to the whole idea of it. A lot of people liked it. Some people, you know, haters like everything else.
That's the way the world
like
is,
everything
yeah.
else. But, you know, it is what it is. And I enjoyed it. And I was thankful for that. And then from there, AC Cruz used to work right next door in the station called The One. It was The One. I don't
Was
know.
it hip hop already?
No.
Era Tejano?
It was Tejano.
Yeah, because he was there and then they turned it into hip hop,
Yes,
right?
it was Tejano first because that's where I met, well, not met, but that's where I got to like do interviews and stuff like with Jesse Turner that was just starting off with Signo. Con like Ricky and them that were just starting Intocable.
Yeah, I remember that, 98,
Everybody
97.
was just like, Duelo was just starting shortly after that.
Yeah, I was already at 99.5
yes.
then. It was funny because AC Cruz, you know, para 96.1, which was a radio station that I started at in 88. And I had, I had been there for 10 years and I left and I ended up at his radio station and he ended up at my radio station.
Swapped.
So we swapped. And then, I ended up having a pretty damn good run at Que Pasa 99.5 till they changed it up.
Yes, you did.
But AC Cruz was there.
Yeah.
And you were also with him then. Huh?
Yeah.
And then it turned into hip hop, and what happened then?
And then it turned into hip hop, and after that, I left. I left the radio station is when I started working at Graham Central Station, and that's when I started touring with Jimmy Gonzalez.
Yeah.
So during that time, I got the job at Graham Central Station when I was still working at.
Was that a lot of fun?
It was the best, funnest job in my life, I think.
I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, but Graham Central, I don't know if you know about Graham Central Station, but it's like a club. It was a first of its kind that had like 4 different clubs under one roof, right?
6.
It had 6? Because they had Tejano, they had
R&B,
salsa,
country,
Tejano, country.
The 70s.
The 70s.
And then the karaoke.
The karaoke lounge.
Yeah.
And it was fun to be at the karaoke lounge.
Yeah.
It was always a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
And there was like, you had seating like, right? It was like almost like a theater.
Yeah, a little theater.
And people would sit there and there was a stage.
And a big bar.
And it was you and a couple of other people, right?
It was. I want to say there was at one point, there was always at least 7 or 8 alley cats. They were called alley cats, which were the singers, the karaoke singer hosts for the karaoke bar there at Graham Central Station.
That club originated, I think that idea originated in Midland, Texas.
Yes.
Because the very first time I went to a Graham Central Station was in Midland, Texas when I was doing a boxing event over there. And I was like, man, this is a cool concept.
Yeah.
And then they brought it to the Rio Grande Valley and then they took it to San Antonio. And so they started franchising out. And then the guys that were working there that were running it were really cool. James and there was another
James
guy.
DeBerry.
And
yes.
who was the other guy that was a manager there? He was a big
there
husky guy.
was like 4 managers. A big husky guy. Wow. You're talking about
he wasn't really big, but he was like, he was a I forgot his name, but sometimes
David Ritchie.
David Ritchie.
There
he is, right there.
David Ritchie.
Un saludo para David y para Derek Berry, todos, ¿verdad? But
and that's where I met Tom Ferrer also. Thomas.
Was he the
Thomas was the manager at the karaoke bar.
Yeah. And before that, there was another guy that was the guy that had started it. What was his name?
David
Amador. David Amador. Shout out to David Amador.
Yes.
I remember he'd be in a tux all the time and all that.
Yeah, he
always goes 100,
He
goes 100.
I
he's not going to slow down.
I love his style. He he was like drill sergeant style,
Yeah.
but I loved it because I love discipline and I love,
Yeah.
things to be in order. And David Amador was definitely an order kind of guy.
He's got a high school sports page now on Facebook, and he does
I
real
saw
good. He
that.
loves following
I
all the
saw
football
that.
and basketball.
And
local
doesn't
high
he
school stuff.
also do like trips to go see the Cowboys?
I'm not sure,
I
but
think so.
I know he's got that going.
Yeah.
So then after,
Yeah.
Graham Central Station se acabó,
Graham
right?
Central Station se acabó, but luckily, I guess everything just kind of meshed, right? But that's where a friend of mine, a real good friend of mine, Albert Flores, he plays congas, with a drum cafe and with a whole. He was playing with Jimmy Gonzalez at the time.
Is he the guy with the big,
The guy
buff
with the
guy?
big,
He's
yeah,
always buff.
the
and-
little short guy with the big, huge muscles.
Yeah.
Yes, that's him. I think he goes by AJ.
I
know
wonder
him
where
as
he's
Albert.
at. I haven't seen him or heard from him
He's
in a long time.
married, and he lives. I'm not sure exactly where he lives, but I know he's still working. Whether he worked with Ruben Ramos for a while, he's done a lot of stuff. Yeah, he's super successful in what he's doing.
Yeah, no, he's always
super
been
successful.
working for with
Absolutely.
bands.
I think he was helping the Selena tribute band.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too.
Oh, dale.
So shout out to Albert AJ Rock Flores. So he put my name in there, I guess, or suggested to Jimmy Gonzalez because he was playing with Jimmy Gonzalez at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmy Gonzalez took a listen. And at that time, it was when Rebecca Valadez, his girl singer,
Yeah.
she was about to quit the band because she had gotten a gig with Janet Jackson in L.A.
Uh-huh.
So she was going to quit the band. And so they said, okay, well, so Jimmy says, hey, well, can you help me out, And I was like, I've never done this before. Like, I've never sang professionally that's huge, Jimmy Gonzalez was
And knowing
huge.
the harmonies and all that stuff.
Yeah,
And singing in
but
the
he
right
said-
key in a harmony.
He said, don't worry. Don't worry, I'll teach you.
And
I
who
was
who else better to teach you than Jimmy Gonzalez?
Right, but yeah, it was intimidating. It was scary, but it was cool. There was the kind of person that he was. Jimmy was very patient and he a lot of times he was era un hombre de pocas palabras, but at the same time he would show you his support.
Yeah.
And so he knew that I was a little intimidated, that I was a little scared sometimes, and he would always tell me, you're doing good, you're doing great, don't worry about it. If you weren't, I wouldn't have you here.
Yeah.
So he always encouraged me and gave me that.
So you were with him for how long?
I was with him for 2 years.
2 years?
I toured with him.
Was this after 2000?
2000, 2001, and 2002 is when
What happened? How was your experience being on the road and doing all that stuff? Did you enjoy that?
I loved it. It was something new to me. I had never done it in my life, and I went from zero to that.
Right to the top with Jimmy.
I
huh?
went from never singing from singing in karaoke audiences, which was usually 100 people there at the bar or whatever, to we went to Monterrey, La Fe, and 5,000 people.
Yeah.
So that to me was, and when I sensed that when we got up on stage, I believe we were closing out the night at La Fe Music Hall in Monterrey, and it was Jennifer Peña and Marcos Orozco had played before us, and then we went on stage and I saw that crowd, and it was such a beautiful feeling. I mean, everybody was it was amazing, and I was like, wow, I said, this is what I want to do.
Speaking of Jennifer Peña, did you see her sing the national anthem at the Canelo fight? It was,
Yes.
I got chills.
She hasn't missed a beat.
It was amazing.
She has not missed a beat.
But she's not doing anything professionally anymore.
No,
is she?
she's a mom, and she loves being a mom.
She married some big artist from Mexico, right?
Obi Bermudez.
Is he doing anything? Do you know?
He sings. He's like an international kind of artist. He sings like international pop music.
Yeah.
Obi Bermudez, and very successful also.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, by what I know, she's really happy, doing that.
What happened after you left Jimmy? Did you just go back to just karaoke? Did you stop singing? I mean,
I had to leave the band because at the time I was still working at the radio station, and so I was out a lot. So they were like, you know what, you can't be doing both because you're missing a lot, and we need you here. So you're gonna stay with the band, or you're gonna keep your job. Well, I mean, with the band, it was just on weekends, you know, and plus my job was my job. I had to pay my bills, you know, and everything else. So
it was steady.
Steady
income.
So I had to let go. I had to say goodbye.
And when you were playing with Jimmy, was it the same pay all the time, or was it like would it fluctuate?
No. It was the same pay all the time.
So all right,
it was the same pay all the time.
Okay.
And he was always, you know, as soon as the night was over,
the money was paid.
The money was in an envelope. You know, he would have little white envelopes with your name on it. Yeah, and afterwards, you know, everybody would go to his room. And they would pass out envelopes.
There'd be a line outside his room, I'm sure, man.
Everybody. So he was always, you know, on time. He never had problems. And whether I sang 3 songs at night or 8 songs, or it was the same pay. But it was always nice.
That's awesome.
They took care of me very well.
So then you had to work, you had to pay your bills.
I had to pay my bills, so I had to stay.
They said either the band or your job. You took the job.
Yeah.
And then you stopped singing for a while.
I did. I stopped singing for a little while. I kept doing karaoke. I kept doing karaoke at the Graham Central Station. And then from there, they opened up. I don't know if you remember Poncho's.
Oh, yeah.
Poncho's Bar and Grill.
Yeah. Ahí en FAR.
En FAR.
Ya lo cerraron,
con
¿verdad?
Rolando Limón y toda la familia Limón.
I went to un saludito para Rolando y la familia Limón.
Yes.
Pero fui para el Hermes ahí atrás del old, donde está el Poncho's viejo. El primero.
Oh, yeah, the warehouse.
There's a Hermes there. So
Yeah.
I went over there a couple of days ago and I was passing by and I was like, man, I honestly think that's where, you know, Bonnie Hernandez and I started doing comedy every Friday night.
Yeah, and I thought Wednesdays. I thought it was on Wednesdays.
And we weren't comedians, you know. We just went up there and that's where we became comedians.
Entertaining the crowd.
We became comedians there. And it kind of started a comedy scene around here. And now we've got like Raymond Horta, Mario Salazar, Sonia Trevino, and a whole bunch of Rudy Barba.
So that's where you started at Poncho's?
That's where we started. And before that, there was really no comedy anywhere.
No.
I don't know if Limon had kind of came up with that idea, or if it was the radio station that said, why don't you have comedy? Or I don't know how it started.
No, I think it was Rolando, because he just wanted to have a little bit of variety stuff going on, because we already had karaoke nights like Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And so he wanted to add something else, you know, to keep the bar open and to keep it. And so, Bonnie and
Bonnie started it, and then I started going to. And before you knew it, there was 1,000 people in that place.
It was crazy.
Like 800 people.
Anybody who remembers Poncho's bar, those were some good times.
And then so Bonnie would do comedy, then I would do another 30 minutes. Y pues nada, pisteando, carnal, como si no comienzo cuando... Si comienzo y estoy pisteando, carnal, no tengo qué hora se va a parar, ¿me entiendes la onda? ¿Verdad, Johnny? Ya sabes.
No. Estareando ese carro, there's no turning back.
Hasta que lleguemos, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Yeah, it was good times.
So then it was like, we were like, shh. And then after we would finish doing our comedy, we would have a joke off, you know, $100 for the best joke. So se levantaban todos los borrachos. Ahí un vato que estaba acá, que la chinga. And then we had a mic y le echábamos mosca al vato when he was saying the joke. Toda la raza, vato, era un pinche mosca, vato, y risa.
Those were the times, bro.
Todas las noches, todos los Fridays, ya había gente ahí esperando temprano para tener silla, bro. It was
those were good times. And I remember que ya para las 11 de la noche, at 11 at night, they had to close the doors because it was already so packed inside. There was to capacity.
¿Qué año era ese? Como los...
That was in 1994.
No, it was like 2000.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Como 98, 99.
I'm back in the 19s already. 2004.
Yo digo que era como 2000, 2001, 2002, por ahí. Ya íbamos pasado el milenio, papá.
Yes. It was in those 2000 because I worked
todavía
there.
Andaba pisteando yo, bro. You know, so.
Ese era el tiempo de Scorpions.
Yes.
Yeah. So you worked there for a while then.
I did. I inaugurated the place when it opened. We had Raúl Brindis come down from California. Inauguramos el lugar y luego I worked there the whole time until he closed down 6 years later. 6 years.
Were you working at KGBT then? Or no?
No, not anymore.
Okay, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Okay, because you mentioned Raúl Brindis. I thought maybe it was something with the station or something.
No, I mean, I was still very connected with the people there because, you know, they were real good friends. And so I believe they had...
Pero ya ibas hecho karaoke por donde quiera, estabas conocida por eso.
Yeah. So the radio station, they had a remote night there one time or something, and they brought Raúl Brindis to open up the place, and then pues yeah, I worked there for 6 years, and then until they closed.
Yeah. So 6 years. What year was that? Probably
that was 2006.
2006.
That was 2006.
And then what happened?
After Ponchos, what happened? What happened after? No, after that's when it becomes a blur.
When did you meet Johnny? What happened? How did you meet Johnny?
I met Johnny in 2009.
In 2009, 3 years later.
Yes, I met him in 2009, and going back to my song, the ¿Quién iba a pensar? It's so funny because that's literally the story of my life with him. ¿Quién iba a pensar? It's literally because we come from two different worlds. Yeah. He lives in Westaco and I'm from FAR. And I had a.
¿Y dónde se toparon?
I met him because I had a gig. It was one of those happy hour at it was one of those hotel. I'm not familiar with Westaco too much, but it was off the expressway. He'll tell you what the name of the hotel was. Bel Air or no, not Bel Air.
¿Dónde
off the expressway
in
Westaco.
There.
Palmer?
Oh, Palmer, yeah.
Okay. Palmer? Okay, Palmer.
Yeah, con todas las palmas ahí.
Yeah, okay. So I had a happy hour gig singing for 1 hour in Westaco.
Antes de una quinceañera o boda o algo así, or they had a little restaurant in there, right, too?
They had a little restaurant.
Yeah, they have a little conference center and stuff like that, yeah.
So I went over there to do a gig in Westaco because I would have never found myself in Westaco. And his, una prima de él was married to Mario Gonzalez. Chihuahua. Yeah, and so
was that Mary?
Marianne.
Marianne.
Yes, yeah, Marianne and Mario. Marianne and Mario used to get little gigs for me as well because they were fans. They loved
big
the way I sang.
promoters. Yes. I mean, Tejano activists.
Yes, they are, and they would try to get me little gigs here and there too. And so they said, well, after we finished that gig, she said, hey, well, I want you to record like a little demo. So that we can have, for people to have so people can hear your voice so you can get more gigs. And I was like, okay. Well, my cousin has a recording studio. And he lives here in Westaco. I was like, bueno, está bueno. Pues estábamos ya un poquito entrados, with a little bit of drinks and happy hour. And so, always carrying around the box wine. The wine that comes in a box. The wine that comes in a box. Well, you got my box of wine here, so we're good. You can take me anywhere. And so, yeah, she drove me to a house in Westaco. We go to the back of the house, knock on the door, and, he opens the door. And there's my Prince Charming. He wasn't so charming at the time because to me, when I first met him, it's the truth. When I first met him, to me, he seemed like real arrogant and just like.
Se la quería mucho, era drummer.
Well, he had a studio and he, no, but the thing is that he was real shy. And so instead of, me, I was always real loud and bubbly. Hi, beso y abrazo, whatever. And he was kind of like, he would shy away from me. Right? It's like, hey, que chocante. Like he's, I don't know.
¿Onta Johnny? Mijita, ¿onta Johnny? Tell him to come over here. We're talking about it. Go call him over here.
Yeah.
Just scream out the door, Johnny. Hey, Johnny. Estamos hablando de ti, carnal, cuando eras en Miss Prince Charming.
Estamos hablando de
en el estudio, en
You have to come and defend yourself.
Estamos hablando del día que nos conocimos.
Cuando fue después de cantar unas canciones ahí en el Palmer y que le dijo Chihuahua, yo tengo un primo que tiene estudio y se dijo que eras bien arrogante y a madre, bro.
Lo que pasa, lo que pasa es que es que me ponía bien, así aprendí como bien.
Pon el micrófono para abajo así
bien,
un poco.
Bien Esteban Jordán, ¿me entiendes? Ahí yo tenía un estudio atrás de la casa de mi jefa.
Yeah.
¿Verdad? Y me metía.
Yo tenía un estudio atrás de la casa de mi jefa, carnal.
Exactly.
Todavía con la jefa le hice el estudio ahí en la casa. Jefa, voy a hacer un estudio con la recámara. ¿Qué?
Pero ese era mi congal.
Bien arrogant, viviendo con la jefa.
No, hombre, lo que pasa, mira, yo no sé, tengo vergüenza, pero nomás poquito, ¿verdad? Pero te voy a decir una onda, guacha pedra. Me habla la prima. Primo, es que aquí tengo una muchacha que canta bien padre y pues yo oí en onda, ¿me entiendes? ¿Cómo digo? Ahí con el zigzag bien apretado y, you know what I mean?
Sí, andaba en chichenchonga,
no,
madre.
hombre, cállate.
He was in work mode.
Sí.
In creative
Pero
work
al mismo
mode.
tiempo tenía la camisa esa rayada del trabajo y jugando el número. No trabajaba, puro pedo. Pero ahí estaba en la casa y we're gonna go over, nomás para que por favor la puedes grabar, nomás con una pista, ¿verdad? Una pista de una canción, nomás una, primo, así me hace el favor. Le dije, pues está bueno, pues yo apenas estaba estareando el carro, ¿me entiendes? So,
Y la clica word of the day, estareando.
vos, güey. So que llega y, oye, abre la puerta y ahí chingo de humo saliendo del estudio y la chica, y le dije, prima, I'm sorry. Le dije, primo, it's okay, we know ya saben dónde andamos. Andaban en mi barrio en las 6 ahí en Westlaco.
Sí.
Can you tell we come from different worlds?
So,
Oye, ¿cómo chingado resultó este vato con una cheerleader? Este vato resultó con una cheerleader.
Para que sepa, No,
entonces,
oye, pues que va entrando y pues vea cuando miras una movie, vea que cuando abren las puertas así y se oye, va entrando la Barbie esta. Va entrando la Barbie esta, no, hombre, el pelo bien peinado y la chingada. Y luego entra Chivo, un monito así como de 2 pies.
Chivo was the drummer for Los Chachos and Jesse Serrata for many years.
Sí, bueno, pues que entra él o entra la prima. Oye, entran con 2 cajitas así. Que yo nunca había visto, pues ahí en mi barrio, puro
40 ounce.
Sí. Ahí
puro
entraba,
pinche cuarto de vironga.
Sí, ¿cómo se llamaba? Ese puro Mickey's.
Ajá.
Nosotros viste ahí puro lo que era puro Mickey's y ¿cómo se llamaba la otra? Boone's.
Boone's Farm y MD 2020, cállate la boca.
La de uva.
Hombre,
cállate.
Oh my God.
No, esas pinches crudas brutas.
No, hombre, pero no había cruda porque no dormíamos.
Y se te subía el azúcar, cállate.
Pues qué azúcar, lo que sea. Nomás que no se me suben las hormigas porque valiendo. So entró y pues yo en ese tiempo, pues yo tenía una novia por muchos años. ¿verdad?
Ajá, sí.
Y apenas en ese tiempo yo fui y en ese lugar ahí me metía yo solo, ahí me perdía. Yo no quería saber nada de nadie, man. ¿Me entiendes?
Te ibas en un viaje adentro.
Ahí yo grababa, I would record ahí.
Como Esteban Jordán, carnal.
Tengo en el YouTube, tengo unas cuantas canciones, ¿verdad? Bajo de que yo he grabado desde 1998, es cuando pasó eso. Y pues, anyways, entra un chingo de cajitas de vino, ¿no? Y dije, oye, si estos quieren venir a porear, pero yo no poreo con ese vino, ese es muy high society para mí, ¿me entiendes?
Sí.
Solo le dije...
High sociégate.
No, hombre, le dije, prima, ¿es nomás una canción o van a tirar ronda? Dije, porque le hace, primo, you know me, le hace. Solo le dije, no, está bueno. No, pues que, pues no me le quería acercar mucho por la razón de que una huelía bastante a puro
Mary Jane.
Sí.
Mary Jane.
Se llama, Mary Jane, let's go high times and never come back. So, yo no pues yo me chivié, pero ella pensó como que este otro sofoque no quería ni tomar un picture con él.
Es que nadie en loco.
I was trying to take a picture with him and he kept like moving away from me and I was like,
No, es que a veces cuando fumamos nos ponemos medio paranoid. ¿Me entiendes?
I wouldn't have even known what that was at the time.
Y se puso paranoid contigo.
Mira, te voy a enseñar, ese día tomamos dos pictures.
Ajá.
Bueno, un picture nomás de yo y ella. Te voy a enseñar. Los ojos parecía chino, vato.
Sí.
Los ojos los tenía así como que me estiraron con una liga.
Tenía
así.
los ojos del Undertaker.
No. Y luego otro que ella no se dio cuenta, pero ahí en el booth, en el vocal booth donde graban la voz y todo.
Ajá.
Ahí le tomé un picture con en ese tiempo yo tenía un flip phone de T-Mobile. Era pirateado, ¿verdad? Pero nomás.
Oh my God.
Que le tomo un picture y lo tengo todavía.
Sí.
Y Desde entonces me enamoré con ella.
¿Y qué pasó? Entró ahí se fue y le hablaste para atrás, tenías el número. Tienes que venir a hacer el master backup vocal.
No,
acá.
En ese tiempo.
Necesito coros. Y te tengo un popurrí que necesito que grabes.
No.
Es un popurrí como de los chachos de 30 minutos.
It was a one take, man. When she started to sing, I was all like, I couldn't get my eyes off of her, la mera brava.
Sí.
And I couldn't.
Ajá.
Like, whatever problems I had in my life at the time, like, it's like, it didn't exist anymore.
Lo que hace, te pegó la flecha de Cúpido en el mero corazón, carnal.
Pinche cheerleader, vato. Pinche cheerleader.
No.
En serio. So, pasó eso, pero después, ya cuando se fueron, me dice mi prima, tiene novio. Dije,
lo quebro ahorita.
Le dije, hey,
lo tumbo.
Prima, yo no quiero novio. No, me cállate. Se me
¿Tiene novio?
Sí, tiene. Hey, yo estaba afinando la guitarra, se me reventaron las cuerdas.
Entonces,
so after that, pues pasó un tiempo, le di la grabación, ¿verdad? Pero pues esa, de vez en cuando lo oía ahí en el estudio, para ir y nomás me acordaba y we lost contact for
every
a long while.
once in a while, he would call, but I would see his name, Johnny Hernandez, and I'd be like, decline.
sí.
Sorry. No me contestaba la güey.
Yeah, because he didn't set a very good, first impression. I was like, I don't have anything to talk to this guy about.
No se lo puedo llevar a los jefitos que lo conozca.
No.
Llega bien Chinese y la chingada. Chinese eyes.
No, era muy barrio. Era muy barrio. La mera, Somos, carnal.
Hey.
Pero no por eso. I mean, obviously, although I'm married to him now, but.
Well, what made you decide, all right, I'll give him a chance? ¿Te mandó rosas? ¿Te mandó carro? ¿Te hizo su casa? ¿Qué hizo?
No, what happened?
¿Cómo te conquistó, Marisela? Es lo que quiero saber.
It was until like 5 years later, right?
Would
I? It was until like 5 years later.
2012, algo así.
No, it was 2009.
Oh, 2009.
It was in 2009 at the time.
Casi mi último año en qué pasa. ¿Y de ahí?
There was a Christmas dance at the Gaslight.
Ajá.
And my primo was going to play. Right, he was playing with the
Tex-Mex
Tex-Mex Cadillacs.
Gaslight Nightclub, ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
was a big-time Tejano club that outlasted all the Tejano clubs.
Yeah.
For a very long time.
Yeah, for a very long time. And the New Variety Band was one of the bands that
Yes.
were established at that place. I mean, they kind of built that place, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So Agnes y Arturo, un saludo para ellos.
Yes.
But that's the club she's talking about. It was right off the expressway behind Waterbury in a hotel.
In a hotel.
Yeah. And then?
Yeah. So there was going to be a Christmas dance that night, and I went to go see the primo because I was single. I had broken up with the boyfriend, and my prima said, "But let's go. You can get out of the house a little bit." And I said, "Okay." So he was there supporting the band. I'm guessing. I don't know. He had right.
¿Quién estaba tocando, Janine?
Los Tex-Mex Cadillacs.
Órale.
Isaac, Fernie.
Yes.
Yeah, y Jesse.
And Chuito Bonand, yeah.
Jesse
Flores.
Yeah.
Isaac Bazan.
Isaac Bazan, guitarra. It's a good band.
Oh, yeah.
They were a very good
They were
band.
amazing.
Very, very, very,
They were
very good.
amazing.
Tenían unos músicos brutos ese show, bro. Ese grupo.
Yes. We talk
Yeah.
about it all the time. We're like, man, if they were still around.
Yeah.
They had great music. They had a good thing going.
And so estaban los Tex-Mex Cadillacs. Entraste tú y...
I saw him and I didn't know it was him. The Johnny Hernandez from the studio.
Estaba bañado y lambido y
He
todo el
was
pedo.
wearing,
Yeah.
it was this tall, he was standing next to the speakers and it was this like really tall, he was wearing a black felt hat and a red crispy shirt.
Parecía Urban Cowboy.
Yes, with a big buckle.
No traía nada, pinche
Black
cuatro bolsas,
jeans.
No
carnal.
tenía nada, güey.
He was wearing black jeans con la rayita bien pintada, like,
Yo
starched.
planchaba todo heavy starch, carnal.
Yes.
Yo era de día era bandido, pero de noche era pinche cowboy.
Well, let me tell you, I didn't.
Eso está bien. Entonces, ¿qué pasó ahí, Marisela?
I guess he saw that I was by myself and he recognized me, and so he asked me to dance. He went and he asked me to dance, and I was like, okay. So I danced with him, and from that night, we danced that night, and we literally from that night on, we have never been apart.
Yeah, yo les voy a decir una cosa. Yo ahorita me siento como el Chuck Woolery de Love Connection. La madre. De que estoy hablando como si fueran en el primer date y todo.
I know, yeah.
So from there on,
that's it.
you all got together, and that was
We've never
it.
separated since 2009.
Wow,
Yes.
that is awesome. And then
We
now,
married.
And so you're, Johnny is a musician, and he is also records, and he does a lot of things. He does production. And now he's supporting you with your dream of recording music and becoming a Tejano artist. And how tough is it for a girl or a woman in this business, man?
It is really hard on so many levels, because first of all, I guess like always, it's always been a male-dominated industry. Tejano music, you normally, correlate the Tejano music artists with the male artists, and yes, there's some female artists that were, of course, the Selena who's not here, the Shelly Lares, the Stephanie Montiels, the Elida Reinas. But other than that, the industry has been difficult to allow any of the other women who were trying to get into the industry. I guess back in the day, it dealt with, if you had a record label, it was, you got backed up by somebody.
Yeah.
If you didn't, you weren't going anywhere. You were just running
and even
around
sometimes the record labels would sign artists and not do anything with them, put them on the shelf.
Yeah,
in order to be able to help another artist that they had.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of politics involved in all that.
Now things are different. Now
you've got your own platforms.
Social media has changed everything. And now, what was back then a little rare, the independent artists, now everybody's an independent artist because now you don't need, quote unquote, a record label to get noticed, to promote you, to do things, to record an album. Everybody's kind of doing things on their own, funding things on a personal level and just promoting yourself. And now with social media, anybody can do it. So you can, you can be from a little small town like me and have zero experience. I record myself doing something, put it out on social media, and somebody on the other side of the world can see me.
Yeah.
And so it's that simple now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So social media has had a big influence in a lot of.
It has its pros and cons.
It does.
Because it does. There's just so many artists on social media.
Oh my gosh, I know.
I mean, and on YouTube
flooded.
as well. You see, but there are those instances where there's a video like Mi Troquita, bro, that just hits the, or what's the name of that other band that does that cumbia?
Oh, yes.
Secreto.
One of your favorites, Secreto.
Grupo Secreto.
Yes.
Yo, vato, ¿cómo pegar a esos chavos? So nomás es esa, y ni es video, nomás están ellos tocando en vivo. So you never know what's gonna hit that nerve, that, you know what I mean, that vein, man. And it's interesting. But then again, it goes so far and then it dies out faster.
Yeah.
Back in the day, te duraba una rola hit un año.
Yes.
And now, pues, de volada sale
They come and
otra.
go, and
Because
there's so
every
many.
day there's thousands and thousands of songs being released.
Yeah.
It's not controlled by record labels anymore.
No, now it's now the competition is so much.
Yeah.
Because everybody's trying to get out there. You're right.
And everybody
You're right.
wants to get that gig.
Everybody.
You know?
Yeah.
¿Verdad, Johnny?
Yeah.
Sí.
Yeah. It's true, but it's still even though we have more opportunities, it's still difficult. It's still difficult because for whatever reason, and I can't even put my finger on it, but for whatever reason, it's more difficult for a female to like have a complete band, to get hired at the clubs, to get hired at venues, to get hired for events.
But the weird thing about it is you were always hired with karaoke.
Yeah.
So what's the difference, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's still you. You're singing. It's just a little different, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
That's why I said I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is and why, but it is difficult. But at the same time, it just is what it is. And like me personally, I'm not trying to do a certain thing. I'm doing what I love to do, what I always love to do. Like I love to sing, and I just want to get out there and have a good time, and other people have a good time.
Yeah.
And if I have to do that locally, I'm fine with that. If they invite me to do it on a bigger stage, I'm grateful for that too.
Have you guys done that Tejano fanfare and stuff and all that? Did you all do all that round?
She hasn't done it.
No?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Due to all this
COVID and all that stuff. Yeah.
Actually, I'd like to send a shout out to Bino Gaona and all the staff at TTMA, Tejano Music Academy.
And then there's something going on in Las Vegas. You're going to be out there. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Tejano Music National Convention, they do a convention once a year and in Las Vegas. And also saludos para David and Sarah Chavez from Ingenuity, who run that whole show every year, put this together on a huge scale.
Yeah,
huge.
It takes a lot of work.
It's a 3-day
It takes
event.
a whole year to set that up.
Oh my God, yeah. It's a 3-day event in Las Vegas. It's amazing. If you like Tejano music, this is a place you want to go to. I mean, everybody for last year, well, the last couple, 2 years ago, because last year was closed to COVID, but they had like Roberto Pulido. They had Bobby Pulido. They have, I know
A.B. Quintanilla was there.
A.B. Quintanilla has done the show.
Elida Reina.
Elida. I mean, just all the big name, a lot of the big name artists are there. And then they have an expo where the
fan expo.
A fan expo for 2 days where you get to go in there and you get to meet all the other artists and the artists that are getting started
organically. It's like, because that's what I tell a lot of artists. It's okay to be on social media and doing all the promotion there. Yeah. But when you go out and shake hands and stuff with people and meet them in person, you form a connection, more of a connection with the person, because now you're personally invested, and
it's nice.
The thing about it is COVID screwed that up too. You know what I mean? You can't really, a lot of people don't want to give you a fist bump. Hey, cool, man, I'll stick around out here. I'll check you out, whatever. But hopefully this shit will change, man. And Las Vegas, when is that happening?
That's going to be coming up this month, August the 19th, 20, and 21.
Yeah.
August
now,
19,
ladies and gentlemen, you all probably aren't aware, but a lot of artists that go to, be part of that event have to do it. They have to rely on their own financial capabilities to get there. So, Johnny had asked me, if I wanted to sponsor Marisela for some merch and stuff, so she can take some stuff up there and have a successful trip to Las Vegas, and they're going to be driving. You're going to be driving, right?
We're driving.
Yes. Yeah. So right away, I mean, I sent, respondí de volada, ¿o qué,
volada.
Always.
Todo el tiempo.
Yes.
So I sent $100, for, on behalf of #PVT.
Yes.
And we're always willing to support, up and coming artists that are wanting to do something with their career.
Thank you.
And we want to ask everybody out there, she has a Cash App. You want to send her $5, $10, $20. You want to match PVT with 100. It'll be very nice of you to be able to help our Rio Grande Valley artists here that's trying to get some of exposure up in Las Vegas. What is do you have it on?
Yes, it's $Marisela HDZ.
Yeah, so we have it on the screen. Now that, guys and girls, I know, we've asked you to do that before, and you all have opened up your wallets and helped out. And, we're asking you, send her $5, $10, 20, whatever you can, just to get them out there and get them back home safely. And you guys are driving up there, man. You gotta be careful on the road, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
¿Cuándo se arrancan, Johnny?
Si Dios quiere, el domingo en la madrugada.
Sí.
Yeah.
El domingo en la madrugada y pues llegas allá para el lunes o el lunes en la noche por ahí, non-stop.
We're gonna
visit some family.
Yeah.
Tiene familia allá.
I have a family there in Vegas.
¿En Las Vegas?
Yes.
Oh, qué padre.
Yeah, I have family there. She she owns a restaurant there in Vegas.
Órale.
Yeah, it's a Mexican cafe.
Oh, wow.
Mexican cafe. She's from here, from McAllen. It's a diner. It's a diner.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Polaris.
Yes, it's called Polaris Street Cafe, right behind the Rio. So
Salió, ¿en qué TV show
she
salió?
came out on that TV show. That Restaurant Impossible, where they go in there. This big name people from the TV station. They go into your restaurant and they just cut you down.
Como bar rescue.
Like bar rescue,
Órale.
but for the restaurants. And they just cut you down. Well, it's because it's for people that are getting ready to call it quits and they
try to rescue them from going into bankruptcy.
Bar rescue.
Hey.
Yeah. And so she came out on that show on the Food Network.
Yeah.
And so they revamped her whole restaurant and now it's like amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's amazing.
Well,
So
make
we're
sure
gonna
to
go.
take video and put it on social media and let all the fans. Do you have an Instagram too or no?
I do not.
Okay, because I looked you up and I couldn't find you, and I was like, okay, she's not on
don't.
Instagram.
I'm
on Instagram, but I hardly get on it. I'm on
I don't
Facebook
either.
and YouTube, and lately, ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me on ASUSTAME one time. That's my page. I'm thinking of closing down the PVT page because it's very slow. It's very hard working to build it. But ASUSTAME one time, that was my original RocknRollJames page. And it's got like 50,000 followers, and I've been getting a lot of traffic on it.
That's classic.
Yeah.
It's in
So go on there and follow me on there, and then you also go on to because Marisela, you now have a Facebook fan page as well, right?
I do. So that one's under Marisela Hernandez Artist on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's where I'm going to be posting all of my music stuff, my new music that I release, and my shows, and just anything that has to do with my music. I'll be posting it on that one. The other one is more my personal page.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Marisela, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
It was awesome hearing your story here today. And how you and Johnny met and everything, and it's awesome. It's a small world, and and me and Johnny, we've known each other for a long time. I get him work, he gets us work, and we're always having each other's back.
Yes,
absolutely,
exactly.
And besides that, Johnny's an amazing construction guy. He can do a lot of, like, if you need something done at your house, any type of construction at your house, what is
recording studios. That's been one of my.
Yeah, he does all kinds of cabinet work. He even does buses. You did Duelo's bus, right?
Duelo, el voz de Duelo. I do a lot of pretty much customized.
There isn't anything this guy doesn't do. You know what I mean?
Blessed. Bendecido.
Yes.
Gracias a Dios.
Very blessed.
So that's why, having Marisela and Johnny take Marisela to Las Vegas, I don't have any worries because that guy can get under the car and tear the engine up and put it back together.
Absolutely,
Hey, on the chat box, they're asking if they can listen to some of her music.
Yeah, I got it right here. It was a song that we put at the beginning. So we're going to finish off with a song, ladies and gentlemen. You all have a nice evening. We'll see you next Tuesday. During the weekend, we'll be putting clips, and on our social media, we'll also be putting clips of the show tonight.
Super awesome.
And Marisela, are you going to perform in Las Vegas? Are you going to get to sing the song?
I'm going to perform on Friday the 20th. Friday the 20th on the Conjuntazo stage with David Farias.
Órale.
Yes, and that's going to start at 11 in the morning, and it's going to end at 5 p.m., so we'll be there.
We wish you the best of luck, okay?
Yes,
Thank
good
you.
luck.
All right, everybody
Thank
wave
you.
at the camera now.
Thank you.
¿Quién iba a pensar que el que menos importaba en mi vida es el que me ama y el que me cuida y me hace muy feliz con su querer? ¿Quién iba a pensar que al que no quería y siempre despreciaba es el que ahora duerme en mi almohada? Es el hombre que me hace sentir mujer. ¿Quién iba a pensar que al fin logró cautivar mi corazón y que ahora yo dependo de su amor y solo sus besos?
If you've been injured in a serious accident or you've been arrested on some serious charges, you need an attorney that's gonna fight for you. Carlos A. Garcia.
Obviously, if you're approached by a federal agency as it relates to an investigation, be it healthcare fraud, drug conspiracies, money laundering, bank fraud, any other federal crime, you want to remain silent. You want to talk to a lawyer who can give you real, honest advice.
Give them a call right away. 956-584-1448. Because serious cases require a serious lawyer.
I'm Carlos A. Garcia, a criminal defense attorney in the Rio Grande Valley. I've been practicing criminal law for over 15 years. I'm board certified in criminal law and I can help you with every problem you may have.
Board certified in criminal law. Attorney Carlos A. Garcia.